In this Adobe Premiere tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make your finger turn onto fire and then wave around and then extinguish, just like this. This is a simple effect done in Adobe Premiere. You can use After Effects to make a much more realistic effect that has fire that reacts to the motions of your fingers. But sometimes we just want to have a quick effect, and we can use Adobe Premiere to do that. The first thing we need to do is import our media. Go to File, Import. Here I'm going to import the finger clip, the fire clip, some fire burning sounds I got from Adobe's free sound effects, along with an ambiance sound of an air conditioner. Click Import. The first step then is to bring the finger clip into the timeline. Now we need to determine where the finger starts on fire and where it extinguishes the fire. So I'll press play. So right there, somewhere, I would say at this frame is where the fire starts. So I'll press M on my keyboard. This drops a marker on the clip. Then I'll press play again. So right about this frame is where the fire starts to extinguish. So I'll press M to drop another marker. Now let's bring the fire loop in. First, we'll notice that the fire is all black. We can fix that very quickly. Click on the fire clip, then click on Effects in the left-hand panel. We can type in Luma, drag Luma key onto the fire loop, and all the black should disappear. Now we need to find out where the fire starts and where the fire extinguishes. So I'll drag the timeline over, and right there I have a little bit of fire, maybe a little bit less. So I'll press M, and as long as I have the fire loop clip selected, it'll drop a marker on that clip. Now I want to know where the fire starts to go out. So it's definitely out there. If I move back, probably somewhere around here, I think, is when it starts to go out. So I'll press M to drop a marker here. Notice that I have too much fire, so my fire is still burning after my finger is gone. We can shorten this clip by pressing C on the keyboard to get the razor tool. Let's just cut out a big section of the middle. Press V to delete it. You could also duplicate that middle section if you needed to make longer fire. Now I'll drag this fire loop, and it should snap right on that marker. If you don't have the magnet on, make sure you turn it on so it snaps. Then I'll bring this clip over, and it snaps right on the marker. Then I can extend either one to the next clip. Let's take a look to see how that works. So it starts when the finger goes down, and it stops when the finger extinguishes it. Now what we need to do is make these clips blend together. It looks okay as is, but we can make it look a little bit better. In the effects panel, type cross, and then we can click cross dissolve and drop it on these two clips. The next thing we need to do is go ahead and nest these so we can edit them together. Right click, nest, and label it fire. So here is our fire clip. The next thing we want to do is click on the fire clip and then double click on it here. Make sure you have the fire clip selected. Move it in place on top of the finger. We want to check the scale. I think it could be a little bit bigger, so I'm going to scale it up just a little bit. You can scale it in the effects control panel. So there, it's just a little bit larger. Now we need to position the fire. So I'm going to go back to the beginning. When you're moving things around, it's very easy to select the wrong video clip. So we don't want to move the finger at all. So select the padlock on the timeline. Now we want to go forward till we can see the fire, right about here. Select the fire clip, then click the position stopwatch to set a keyframe. Double click the fire video clip and then move it into position. So now we know at this frame it's in the right position. Now press left on your keyboard to go back. Move it into position, left to go back, move it into position, left to go back, move it into position. Now we'll go forward in time. Right here is the frame after the first one we set. So now we just move it into position, click right arrow on your keyboard, move it into position, click right arrow, move it into position. Keep doing this for the whole clip. In After Effects, you can use the motion tracker, but this keeps the effect very simple by doing everything in Premiere. It's just simply keyframing the animation yourself by going frame by frame and then moving it into position. For a short clip like this can be very quick. It doesn't have to be perfect because the fire is moving around, but just use your gut and put it in the space that you think looks the best. And when you get to the end, you can just leave the fire in place because it's now left the finger and it's just smoke going up. So now let's take a look at how that seems. Great, the fire starts on the finger, then extinguishes when the finger goes down. But we need to add some sound to make it seem more realistic. Let's go back to our project window, and then I'm going to bring over this fire torch movement flare up. I got these sound effects from Adobe. They are free to use for commercial projects, and I highly recommend them. So let's move this over so we have the flare up right at the beginning. Then I'm going to use this torch burning sound effect and bring it in. I want to overlap that sound effect so it starts after the startup. And then I'm going to use this movement fast for the extinguish. We're going to zoom in. You can zoom in by moving these little bars on the bottom of the timeline. I want this sound to overlap where the marker says that it's starting to go out. So we have a little bit of whoosh sound before and a bunch of whoosh sound after. Then I can press C to just trim the fire burning sound. Delete the other half. Okay, let's see what that sounds like. Excellent. That sounds great. So then we will bring in some ambiance air conditioner sound just to fill out those quiet parts. I'm going to press C to trim this so it's not there anymore. And then this is going to be really loud, so let's go ahead and lower it. By default, the keyframe stopwatch is already clicked on volume levels because generally you want to keyframe that. But in this case, we want a general adjustment, so I'll click the stopwatch and then twirl this out, and I can lower it, say down to -18, -20 dB. And then the last thing is the sound will be very harsh at the end. So let's go back to effects and we'll type in fade. And then we have under audio transitions, exponential fade. We can drop that right on the end here. That'll just fade it out. If you look at the fire, we can't see the finger. So you can click on the fire clip. And then up here, you can change the blending modes. So you can change it to screen and you'll see some things through there. We can also change it to color dodge. We can change its opacity. We can change it to multiply, and we'll see it like this. We can also duplicate this clip and have two different blending modes, which sometimes can be helpful for fire. So I'll just hold this and press the Alt or Option key and drag it up. Actually, I'm going to put the screen on top for brightness, but I'm going to change the opacity of the screen down just a little bit till I think it looks good. Change that to multiply. So there's many different ways that you can have that set up for what you think looks the best. This might be a little bit too light. So then if you don't like those effects, you can just leave it at normal. There's many different ways to experiment with that. So happy fire making. You can use this effect to add a quick fire effect to any of your video projects in Adobe Premiere.